Hey everybody, you're listening to Sunny, the original diva of the WWE on InYourHeadOnline.com. This is the place to come for the real deal about wrestling, so make sure you visit us.
All right, and we're back. Welcome to In Your Head Wrestling Radio, late night edition. I'm the internet icon, Jackie Jones, along with my right-hand man.
1-inch biceps, a power goat. Bah.
Oh, man.
Have a week, Bob. It's late.
All right, we'll let it pass this time. And joining us right off the bat here, we've got, a lot of people know him as Oscar from Men on a Mission. How you doing tonight?
I'm all right, guys. How y'all doing? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I'm freezing here at the moment. I don't know about Incher.
It's pretty cold here, too.
Yeah. Middle of a snowstorm. If you guys want to call in tonight, it's 508-644-8503. Ask Oscar a question. First of all, how did you even get involved in wrestling?
Well, I was a rapper back in the early 90s, and, make a long story short, I was doing a show out in Vegas on a famous comic called Andrew Dice Clay, and when I was at Caesar's Palace, just gambling, chilling, and taking in the sights, that particular day, Randy Savage and Vince McMahon were shooting vignettes for WrestleMania 9. So there was a lot of commotion coming through the casino area, and when I looked, I saw security, and I saw Randy Savage dressed up. So I said it would be a goof to go and just do a freestyle rap for Randy Savage real quick. So I dropped what I was doing. I was actually winning at the crap table at the time. But I dropped everything I was doing, and I went over, and I said, Mr. Savage, I got to sing a telegram for you. And he said, go ahead, brother. And I did a Randy Savage rap. Vince was standing right there, Jerry Lawler, and a bunch of them. I put all of them into the rap. And then Vince told me that was pretty impressive. He told me to call him at the WWF office in Stamford, Connecticut that Monday. I called him, we had a conversation, and the rest is basically history.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty awesome. Now, and Macho Man, later on, he put out his own rap album.
He put out. I haven't heard it, but I'm pretty sure he had to have been inspired because he did a pretty excellent job. So we collaborated on the Lex Express rap video, and I think that's probably when he was rapping for the first time, but he knew he could do it. So it made sense with his celebrity and his popularity for him to make some kind of album. With that voice, he could never have gotten over as a singer. So, he should have did a rap. And his previous albums probably, it's got to be entertaining if nothing else.
Oh, it definitely is. It sticks with you. It's very memorable. So you knew Macho Man when you saw him. Were you a big wrestling fan, or did you just know Macho Man? Because, I think even non-wrestling fans knew Randy Savage.
Oh, no. I was a huge wrestling fan. I've been a wrestling fan since I was a little boy. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and the first wrestling that I was exposed to was came on in New York on WOR Channel 9. Back in the days, we used to watch Bruno Sammartino, Neil Nascaris, a young Vince McMahon and Anthony Rocca were the hosts at the time. And, you had We Out Battle and Grand Wizard as manager, Superstar Billy Graham was the champ. I remember the night that he actually beat Bruno Sammartino in Baltimore, Maryland, and we were all upset that next day when we heard that Bruno lost. And we used to go up to my father used to take us to Madison Square Garden. We got some pretty nosebleed seats, but we didn't care. We was in the house, and we would go when the wrestler would come to the Garden and see it live and all that. So. And then every year I used to go, spend my summers down in Georgia. So on Saturday, the whole family, we watched Georgia champion. Wrestling came on for almost all day in down south. You had Florida wrestling came on, Georgia wrestling, you had Mid-South, you had NWA, and, people like Harley Race and Barry Windham, and the list goes on and on. I was exposed to it a lot by watching it. So I knew exactly who everybody was. So, it's something, being a fan of something for so long, and then one day you wake up and you're actually a part of it. That's something that you never forget. That's the biggest aspect of it that I can remember and appreciate by it.
Yeah. Not, like when Macho Man said he was like, impressed by your rap and stuff, did you ever think like, he's just being, cool with me and stuff, but did you ever think like he'd really like help you get a job with WWF?
No, but I mean, my thought process, because see, at that particular time, I was on the road to doing some pretty, big things in the entertainment business. I was doing big telethons, and I was rapping, performing at big casinos and all that. So my thing was, okay, I knew WrestleMania 9 was coming up, so I said, well, maybe if I do this rap real quick, maybe I can just come out and do a WrestleMania 9 rap. That was my thought process. But as we all know, it turned out to be big. That was what I'm saying. That was my thought process at the time. But as it turned out to be, much bigger than that, bigger picture than that. So for that, I'm grateful.
Do you remember, like, who called you? Was it, like, somebody you recognized?
I mean, like I said, in Vegas, Vince was standing right there. He told me to call him Monday. My first conversation was with Vince.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's pretty awesome. So, like, when they brought you in, did they tell you, like, we want to make you a manager for this team, or what kind of plans did they have for you?
Well, my very first conversation, Vince knew right away. Well, Vince knew right away that I didn't have any wrestling experience. I mean, I was, somebody off the street, basically. I mean, he knew they wasn't bringing me in as a wrestler, but he knew what the potential for the rap gimmick was instantly. So our very first telephone conversation, he told me that he saw right away bringing me in as a manager. As a matter of fact, he thought it, but Jerry Lawler, who was there at the time, told Vince right away as they were on the elevator going upstairs. Jerry Lawler told me himself, he said that guy would make a great manager. And Vince was like, you know what, I know. So it was something that had been discussed, and like I said, it was a weekend thing when I met Vince, and 2 days later we had our initial phone conversation. Then right after WrestleMania 9, we had another long conversation over the phone, and that same day I had a conversation with the legendary J.J. Dillon, who was the vice president at the time, and soon after that, they flew me out to Connecticut for our first meeting, and that's when I met Mo and Mabel for the first time. They flew them out, and we all sat down, and they pretty much told us what the gimmick was going to be, because they had already got with the creative people, mapped out everything and everything like that, and then that's when, we knew what we was going to be, and we shot the vignette soon after that, and then we got the ball rolling.
Yeah. Now, like, when you first met those guys, did you guys, like, hit it off right away?
Well, no, we didn't hit it off right away. I mean, we were, like I've mentioned in other interviews, we had two different lifestyles growing. Okay, I grew up, in Brooklyn, New York, in the projects. The American dream for me was something I would see on TV. As my family wound up moving to California, I had gotten involved in rapping itself, and I got involved as time went on. I had gotten pretty successful at it. I was doing freestyle rap, performing for, with groups like Run DMC, Houdini at the time, rap groups, but also on the flip side of that, I was doing white America functions like telethons and bar mitzvahs and big fundraisers and everything like that, and money started rolling in for me, more money than I ever made in my lifetime started rolling in, and I had gotten, was getting spoiled, almost aristocratically spoiled. I was staying in 5-star hotels and doing big things and all that other kind of stuff like that. And Mo and Mabel, they, when we go on the road, they want to take a middle-class save money approach to it. So we used to argue about things about what hotel we were going to stay at, what restaurant we were going to eat at, this, that, and the other. So it was a pretty rocky road in the beginning for a few months. But as we got to know each other and work together, and everybody, I appreciated their tremendous talent as wrestlers. They appreciated what I brought to the table as far as getting the fans going. We came out, we settled in and personally, we really became brothers, and to this day, you know, I have so much respect and love for those two. I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. How much fun was it filming the vignettes?
I mean, it was great. I mean, you know, you got to, you know, you had Vince looking on, and you know, they were filming them, and you know, I was rapping, and we were all doing it. So I mean, it was, you know, it's like making a video. So which was, you know, one of my dreams coming up in the entertainment business. See, I wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to go on tour. I wanted to do videos, and I wanted to do all that. And the dream came true, but it didn't come true the way I envisioned it. You know, I didn't go on a world tour. I did shows of rap groups, but I didn't go on a world tour of rap groups. I didn't make a record and become a recording artist, but I became, you know, a famous figure in another arena. So, you know, to that, it was a dream come true. It just, you never know what's going to happen. You know, you wish for something, and then when your wish is granted, you never know what form it's going to come in. So that's the funny part about it.
Yeah. Like, how much input did you have in, like, in the whole gimmick? Like, the names and, like, the clothes and everything?
In the beginning, one thing that I had creative control over was the rap and the content. I wrote those from one syllable to the next. I didn't have no help at all. I was total subject, you know, and all the raps were written and performed by me solely. But the Men on a Mission gimmick was Vince's, Vince and whoever else came up with the concept, their idea. The names of Mo, Mabel, and Oscar, that was, you know, they told us those were going to be our names, you know, the first meeting we had. So the creative process of Men on a Mission, you know, was there. Later on, the purple and gold that they wound up wearing was my idea. I didn't really care for the poor, downtrodden, sewn together tight lip that they had, and me with the T-shirt. So I didn't care for that even from the beginning. But you know, I worked with it or whatever. But as we settled into the gimmick, you know, later on, I suggested, you know, that we would keep the purple and we would keep the gold gimmick pretty much to match their hair color. So the purple and gold singlets and tights and all that came into play. And then as for me, later on, I pretty much had free reign to pick my own outfits, because my SummerSlam outfit and all that was, you know, concepts I came up with. And my WrestleMania top, which was leather with a microphone on the back and had MOM on it, they were all my designs, and I just had somebody do it.
Yeah. Now, why purple and gold? The Lakers colors?
No, the purple was basically the very first base color that we had. I mean, their first outfits had lots of colors in it. The purple was basically the underlying color. And if you remember, my first denim outfit that I ever had was purple, and it had like a little gold trim in it. So that pretty much, you know, looked good, and I really wanted to, you know, continuity means a lot. So I wanted to keep the continuity as far as the colors going, so I pretty much stuck with that. But later on, they kept the purple and gold. But if you look at old video, you'll see me in different colors and in different things, but I always had the MOM emblem, you know, to be able to change it up. But that was basically what our color scheme, you know, would be.
Yeah. Intro, you got a question?
Yeah, I got a question from the message board. The Bob, he wants to know, is it true that the Men on a Mission had several issues with the Click?
What Click?
That'd be like Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon and Diesel, those kind of guys.
That's a very good. That's a very good question. There was an incident that happened in Tel Aviv, Israel. Mabel got sick and passed out, and we thought there might have been something seriously wrong with him. It turned out he was okay, but it was something on our mind. One night, what happened was Shawn was getting out of the shower, and he had bumped into Mo and told him to get out the way. And they got into a very good argument after that, which almost escalated to a full-scale shoot fight in the back. But, you know, the situation got... I had with X-Pac, 1, 2, 3 Tennis Time. You know, I mean, I love and respect him today, but I call it like it is. You ask a question to answer. They were very arrogant at that particular time, and they felt like they were the top echelon of voice acting. You know, they would do things like they thought that if there was a line at the airport, they thought they could skip over everybody and go first. Just little irritating little nuances like that really rubbed me the wrong way. But yeah, those things just did happen. And yeah, so the answer to that is yeah, it was quite a problem. They got ironed out. Fine, but it was kind of frustrating. It was frustrating enough being overseas. So to deal with assholeness, you know, on top of that made it rougher. So yeah, that's a memory that we have of that. But the answer is yeah, we did have problems with this.
Mm-hmm. Did anything bad ever happen, like in the ring with those guys? They ever? Because some people said, like Shane Douglas and other guys, that like they would sandbag them and not like go up for their moves or whatnot.
I'm sorry, did what?
Did they ever like mess up any matches in the ring with any of you guys with Men on a Mission?
No, I don't recall nothing like that ever happening. So no.
Yeah. We got a call here. No one's specials on the line.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. You got a question for Oscar?
Yes, I do. It's the question everybody's been wanting to know. In a cage match between you and PG-13, who wins?
You remember
I didn't have a match with PG-13.
If you were to get into one. If you and them got into a fight, who wins it?
What did you think of... yeah. Go on,
oh, okay, I'm glad I'll address that question in a second. When it comes down to PG-13, Public Enemy, R-Truth, even when John Cena came out rapping, you got to understand something. And this is not just me talking, this is a fact. All these people are carbon copies of how Men on a Mission did their entrance. I mean, you know, Men on a Mission was the blueprint of hip-hop elements in wrestling. So, I mean, this is where that whole concept and idea came from all these people. So when people say bad things about Men on a Mission or Men on a Mission, worst tag team or whatever, you got to look at, you know, the historical value of how Men on a Mission brought that hip-hop element into wrestling. But to answer your question, Roman Reigns would squash the hell out of PG-13.
Did they ever work with PG-13? Because I know they were both in Memphis.
Well, I mean, when they were in Memphis, I wasn't with them, so I really don't know. Not to my knowledge, but just because I don't know it, don't mean it didn't happen. I was never in Memphis, so I don't know. I don't have a recollection of every match they ever had, so I don't know.
Yeah. How about, I know he's in the other company, but do you have any thoughts on PN News?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I told PN News personally. You know, the first time PN News, he saw me, I think, somewhere in Ohio, and he gave me kudos. He was like, oh, that's how it's done. The rhymes have to rap. I mean, when he was in WCW, and I watched him on television, I mean, Yo Baby Yo was cool and everything like that, but he simply couldn't rap. I mean, in order to put a gimmick like that over, you got to send somebody out there to know what they're doing. Not somebody out there to go out there, just yell at the crowd, think the crowd is going to say something, and you know, I mean, it was really, you know, as a rapper, it was really bad. And as a wrestler, I don't know if he was too much better. So that's why that only lasted short-lived. Men on a Mission was better because Mo and Mabel really knew how to wrestle. They functioned well as a big-man tag team unit. You know, I was a pretty much an experienced rapper. I knew how to work the crowd, put together the words on the fly. As far as if we was in Houston, I talk about Houston. If it was the Royal Rumble, my raps would be about the Royal Rumble. The raps were tight, they made sense, and I knew how to rock a crowd. So that's what made all the difference. When I see like R-Truth today, I mean, that what's up is cool, but I mean, have him say something else. And when you go out there, stop singing the same damn song every night. I mean, it's, you know, redundancy is you know, the worst. Is a bigger killer than a heart attack. I mean, go out there and do something different. I'm still an old school rapper, but I bet you if I took a mic and went into a WWE crowd right now, I could rock the crowd better than he could.
For a while there, he had a new song. He had "Getting Crunk," but that one didn't last very long.
Well, that's because you got to be generic. Average white people don't know what crunk means. You got to appeal to everybody.
What does crunk mean? We've had a debate.
Crunk means get excited, be the life of the party, get hyped. That's what crunk means. Hype. Crunk means wired. Crunk means yeah.
I got you.
See what I mean? That's exactly what I mean. That's why I didn't catch on, because everybody don't know. If people don't know a word, then they don't know it. So they're not comfortable saying it. So if you go out there and you try to tell people to say something, they're not going to know what you're talking about, so it's not going to go over.
When you were there, did you, some people say there is, some people say there isn't, but did you see any racism in the wrestling business?
Did I see racism? I'm sure racism is in everything, but I really didn't witness it. Me personally, I had ribs played on me and all of the kind of thing like that, but that was something that happened when everybody got ribs played on me. I woke up drenched in shaving cream one night and, and a whole bunch of other stuff I really don't care to mention. But it wasn't a racist thing. It was a thing where this is what they did. They ribbed all new people. They ribbed each other. But to answer your question, I'm sure racism exists in everything, but I was never treated, I didn't recognize any racism for myself personally, and I didn't see it inflicted on Mo and Mabel, so I would have to say no.
Yeah. I always read that there was like a rib played on Mo when they put him in one of the Rumbles for like a long period of time. I think it was like the 94 one. Is that true? That they just did that so you'd have to wrestle for like 30 minutes or something?
Well, I don't know. I don't know whether it was a rib or not, but he went into the Rumble, and a Rumble is a Rumble. You go in there and you stay in there as long as, they tell you that you're going to be in. So, and I would disagree if you thought it was a rib, because that means everybody who was ever in a Rumble that had to stay in there 10, 20, 30, 45 minutes or however long, to them it was a rib. So they kept every man in the position they had to keep it in. I don't know his point of view on it. So, I really can't answer to it, but if I had to give you my own conjecture, I would say it wasn't a rib. It was just I was the order of the night.
Yeah. Job's here in our chat room. He wants to know what was the reason for turning Men on a Mission heel, because the guys were really over.
Well, I'm going to tell you that I do not have the infinite answer to all the infinite questions of the universe. And when I say that, I'm going to tell you that I know Mo and Mabel wanted to turn heel. They felt like they would be more effective heels than they were baby faces. Now, they wanted that. Why they made a decision to do it at that particular time, I don't know, but I will say I think it was the worst decision made at the time, because we were the huge baby faces. I don't think the gimmick realized its potential. I thought it was a bad move at the wrong time, and I think that we would have had more success had we stuck with it with what we had going at the time. But as we all know, it didn't turn out that way.
Mm-hmm. Now, why didn't you turn heel with them?
Well, because I always pledged that, number one, a lot of people want to know during my rap career if I would ever be a gangster rapper or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Rapping about bitches, rapping about hoes, rapping about I do smoke weed, that, this, that, and the other. I've always kept my raps positive, and I've always spoken schools and told kids to say no to drugs, stay in school, and all that. And I did that with my rapping. So I wasn't not going to contradict myself no matter how much money was involved, no matter if it meant more longevity in my wrestling career, to be portrayed negatively on television, especially with an audience that wide. I did not want to be negative. I stayed true to my beliefs and my integrity, and for that I made my exit. I didn't want to be a heel under no circumstances.
Did they want you to be?
It was a thing where in Liberty, New York, Vince offered for me to go out and test my healingness. Mabel didn't think that I could do it, but it's not. If I'd have went out that day and I would have upset those people and had them really hate me, then to be a heel manager, it's a possibility that I could have stayed with it. But that's not what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever regret that you didn't turn heel and stay with the company at the time?
No, I don't regret it, not at all. I mean, I stayed in it as long as I got what I wanted out of it. I got to see the world. I got to do the whole pay-per-view cycle. You know, I got a couple of years of television out of it. And by the time it was time for me to go, my mindset was I wanted to pursue other areas of entertainment anyway. I wanted to pursue being a rapper. I wanted to get involved in different areas of television, radio, and those are the kinds of things I did, and those are the kinds of things I still do now. Reason why I'm coming pretty much out of it, you're hearing more from me now, is because over the years, I really thought that as years went by, there would be less about Men on a Mission, that, you know, out of sight, out of mind, you know, but I look on the internet, and there's not less, there's more. There's more YouTube videos, more stories, more where are they now, more conjecture, more rumors, more this, that, and the other. And, you know, my name comes up, and I want to come out and go on the record and answer some of these questions. Come out and show my face and let people know I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all being there for way back when. I was glad to be a part of it. I have no ill will towards Mabel or Mo. I still keep in contact with them. I still love them. I'll get together with them anytime. And, you know, I'm glad that they're keeping, you know, the Men on a Mission, you know, memory alive, and I appreciate it.
Intern, do you have another question?
Yeah, T.C. Anderson, he has a question. He wants to know, do you feel like Harlem Heat took your gimmick at the time?
I don't feel like nobody took our gimmick. I feel like a lot of people copied off of it, and every time I saw a variance of it from then even till now, I'm not offended or mad. I'm like, you know, proud that I feel like I'm the godfather of the movement. I feel like, you know, I innovated, you know, the hip-hop element into wrestling, and anytime I see people do it, I'm like, you know, if it had not been a Men on a Mission, there would not be a this person or that person, or, you know, their interests wouldn't be like this, that, and the other. So I'm proud. Hey, kids.
Was there any of the managers there that, at the time that like tried to give you any advice, like you know, what to do at ringside?
I listen to everybody. I mean, I had J.J. Dillon, who was the vice president, and at every television, and I would always listen to him, and always, you know, I looked up to him. You had Paul Bearer, who was an excellent manager, and, you know, looked at how his body language on the sidelines. You had Harvey Whippleman. You had, you know, Lou Albano, who would drop in from time to time, who was just legendary. And you had, you know, and besides the managers, you know, I had a lot of the wrestlers, and any advice they would give me is advice that I would take, because, I mean, you know, I was still a mark, basically, a fan. Mm-hmm. So anything that they can tell me to enhance, you know, what it was that I was doing, you know, I mean, as a manager, you know, I'm not going to go down in history as one of the great managers in the wrestling. I'm not, because I was not that guy. I was not that manager that stood out. I mean, I'm the guy that got the crowd going and the crowd excited and all that other kind of stuff like that. But all the legendary managers that I did run into, you know, that did give me advice, yeah, I've been taking it with a grain of salt. I took it into my heart, and I tried to go out there, and I tried to, you know, do the gimmick as best as humanly possible.
Yeah. Do you have any memories of the Survivor Series match when your team and the Bushwhackers were dressed up as the Doinks?
One of my greatest nights. I enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed everything else, dressing up like a clown, and the people didn't know who the Fort Doinks was going to be. So when they saw us come out, you know, everybody in the Boston arena, as well as everybody, people watching on pay-per-view, had the shock value of that alone is what really sticks out in my mind. But it was one of those matches where you were more relaxed because it was more fun than it was an actual match. And that's what made it enjoyable and all that. And then the celebration in the back. And we're just walking around with that makeup for hours on there, because I put that makeup on like 3 o'clock for a match that wasn't going to happen till like 9, 10 o'clock that night. That was the killing part. But other than that, you know, it was fun. I'm just sorry we didn't get to do it more.
Yeah. Now I know, Bam Bam Bigelow's in the match, and I would consider more like a serious wrestler. Did he have any problems, doing like a comedy match?
No, I mean, one thing, I'm pretty sure that there are things people are told to do that they have problems with, and that's in any job. Well, I don't care whether you mop floors or whether you're the president of the United States, from 0 to 80 as far as a career term. But, I mean, people pretty much, we pretty much did what the order of the day was. I mean, some people might have griped about things, I'm sure, but, I mean, as it was written and as Vince mandated it and what we were all told to go out to do, we went out and did it to the best of our ability. Back then, the work ethic in the back was excellent. Everybody went out. If you had to do a job on somebody, you did it. You could put somebody over, you did it the way it was specified to be done. It was done in a very professional way. And as far as professionalism goes, the WWE outfit at that time was one of the greatest examples of professionalism that I've ever witnessed in my life. And that answers that question, because people went out there and they did their thing, and they did what they were told to do. They did it the way they were told to do it, and at the end of the day, you had a decent product.
Yeah. Now, it seemed like, they wanted Mabel to be, the big single star, because he's a really big guy, he can move for such a big guy. Did you ever see, him get, special treatment out of the group? And do you think, Mo ever got, you upset about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a thing to where in the beginning, the way it was supposed to work out, in the beginning, they wanted to feature me and feature the rap gimmick and, that kind of thing, because they wanted, the plan was for me to spin off and do other things. I never, it didn't go that way. I didn't, so I don't know what those other things were going to be. So that was kind of a source of tension. Then as time went by, Mabel's size and the way he moved, he was more out on the forefront. And in any team, that's going to cause dissension. I mean, that's going to cause, everything. If you're a team and one person is standing out more than the other one, and Mo never got that. And it's been argued, by Mabel, even on camera in interviews, that, he feels that kind of put a wedge in their friendship, because of that, or whatever the case may be. We're all older now, so I'm sure that there's still some hard feelings and soreness about it, but we've pretty much gotten past it. But yeah, to answer your question, back then, yeah, it was an issue. I mean, but, and it's an issue to me that I think was done on purpose, because I think that, sometimes the machine, and by the machine, I mean the company and the way it does things, the machine will test the resolve of anything and everything that's, the cogs of the wheel are always going to be tested for their wear and tear. And when that happened, I really believe that was something behind it, and, and I don't know what else to say about it, but to answer your question, yeah, it happened, but it's a part of life, and you got to, deal with it as best as you can.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've read rumors that there was an untitled title switch, an unsanctioned title switch when you guys beat the Quebecers, and what happened there? What's the story?
No, there wasn't no unsanctioned title switch. We were supposed to get the belts, and then we were supposed to get the belts in England that night, and we were scheduled to drop them 2 nights later. I think it was in Sheffield, England. So that went just the way it was. I do think that, since you brought that up, I do feel in my heart of hearts that was another bad decision. I don't know why. Okay, we got the belts while we had to turn around and drop them practically the next night. Yeah, that left a very bad taste in my mouth. I think with us having the belts for a while would have raised the credibility and raised the ire of the gimmick, a lot more than what it was, but it didn't work out that way. And I'm really, that was another thing that I really was really raw and upset about. We should have been able to keep the belts for quite a while, and I think that we would have been a tag team to reckon with. It would have been realistic for us not to even be beat for a month or maybe a year or two on end, and then drop the belts later in grand fashion, and that didn't happen. So yeah, that did upset me a lot.
Yeah. What do you think Men on Mission, who were their best matches with?
what stands out to mind, some of the best matches with the Head Shrinkers, because the Head Shrinkers made us work. The Head Shrinkers were a very good working tag team. Some of the matches with the Quebecers, to me, were the most enjoyable because they were the most funniest. Singly, I think that Yokozuna and Mabel, when they had singles matches, those were great because watching those two big guys go at it like that and doing the things they did, you know, that mammoth versus mammoth style of wrestling was great. Bam Bam Bigelow was good going up against Mabel because I think he put Mabel to the test. With his experience as a big man, he made Mabel, you know, really, you know, rise up and really work. And I think Mabel learned a lot by wrestling with Bam Bam. So those are some of the, you know, opponents that really stand out in my mind.
Yeah. Now, you know, you talked about you guys getting back together recently for, like, some, you know, fan fests and whatnot. And you said you guys are friends and stuff, but from when you left to when you guys got back together recently, did you guys stay in touch?
No. Over the years, I've really pursued other areas, got out of wrestling, you know. I kept track of what they were doing, you know, when Mabel was on television, and, you know, I would email Mo every now and then and see how he was doing, and he would correspond back. But it had been over 10 years when we got together in Levittown that I hadn't really seen or talked to either one of them. So it was a real treat to, you know, to really, you know, get back with him. And when I got back with him, you know, that really left a really great taste in my mouth, and I really, you know, I got the fever back to at least, you know, not get back in wrestling on the level of being back on WWE TV, anything like that, but at least do more appearances and at least, you know, just be part of the wrestling community, you know, maybe have seminars and teach young guys about, you know, what it means to be in the business, getting in the business, you know, and, you know, that kind of thing. In other words, I've been in other areas of entertainment, like other areas of TV, radio, but now I have the passion back for wrestling, and I think I learned a few things over the few years that I was involved, so I might could, you know, bring that to, you know, some people, and I still believe that I still have, you know, one or two fans out there, so I like them to get a chance to see me, ask me anything they want to know, get an autograph or whatever the case may be, and have some fun with it.
Yeah. Here in the chat room, Phoenix, he wants to know, what do you think of today's product?
I have mixed feelings about it. Today's product of wrestling is like I feel about the entertainment business as a whole. This is kind of a long answer. The entertainment business has changed a lot. The music business, for instance, years ago, you developed groups and bands like The Who, The Rolling Stones, you know, Barry White, Barry Manilow, you know, Madonna, the list goes off and on. And the point is that these acts were made for longevity. They were made in, you know, the music is timeless. You know, these artists were brought to, in the business. They came out slowly, they were developed, and they became stars. And their legacy will be around long after you and I are dead. Nowadays, it's like you have your Justin Biebers and your Justin Timberlake, which are good artists, and you have your, you know, you have 98 Degrees and all that. The point is, today's music is built where these people are not longevity-driven stars. They are fast food stars where you see something one day, they have a hit, and then 2 years later, you don't even hear from them no more. It's the next young, hippest, hottest thing. It's like an assembly line of talent. And that's what I think the WWE and wrestling is today. It's not like you don't have, like, big stars like Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold and wrestlers from back in the day like your superstar Billy Graham and all that. You have a young, hot hit talent, but these people are not people that are built to come in today and be around 10 years from now. You know, I don't think Kofi Kingston's going to be there 3 years from now. I don't think that you're not going to have your Nexus 2 years from now. I mean, these are people who are basically job guys who are all going in mollywopping everybody in their path when, you know, people like The Undertaker will go in and clear a ring of top superstars in a 10-man, 10, 15, 20-man tag match, but the Nexus goes in and beats him down. I mean, come on, that's not even... That doesn't make the product look realistic today. But the point is, like I said about the music business, you're not building stars for longevity. You're building people who you see them today. If they're gone tomorrow, either next Hitler's hottest thing comes out that curtain, and it's not building stars. It's not building legends today, and that's what's bothering me.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's part of it is there really is just the WWE? There's no place for these guys to really come from. WWE pretty much brings them up from developmental. They don't, come up through like there's indies, but there's not like the territories like there used to be.
Well, to me, the logical answer, what I would do if I was running a company, and the way I really think it is, it's all economics. If you get people and they're not, like people come to see John Cena, people come to see Randy Orton. So being John Cena, you have to pay him a big check, for him to wrestle because people are actually coming to see that name. But there's only a few names on there like that. So if you got a couple of people that you got to pay top dollar to, everybody else you don't have to pay like that because they're all supporting cast. So for supporting cast, we're going to get supporting cast money. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's all economics. So years ago, half the territory was big names. So when they would wrestle, you had to pay them a respectable amount of money for a pay-per-view or for a big house show. Today you don't have to do that because your match is not really a main event match. You're not a big star, big name. If you're gone tomorrow, nobody cares. So basically what it's doing is keeping a few people in the top upper echelon and everybody else is just to fill up the night. And that's basically how it's working now.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. We got Joel calling in from Portugal. Joel? Speak up, Joel. When you were in the company, now they're doing the wellness policy. Did you see a lot of drug use in the company?
No. Actually, there's not a lot of drinking and a lot of drugs because during my day when I was there, we were in the middle of the biggest, probably steroid controversy in the history of any sport. So we were going through urine tests and everything else, and people were getting big fines, suspensions, and fired for doing drugs and all of the kind of stuff like that. So, no, it was a pretty sober period.
Yeah. Do you have any, you don't have any things coming up? Any appearances?
There's going to be quite a few. I just don't have any dates right now, but I will keep in touch with you guys by email, and I will come back in the near future, and I know definitively what day something's coming up.
Oh, that'd be excellent. Any rib stories you'd like to share with us?
Let's see. Like I mentioned earlier, waking up drenched in shaving cream, getting duct taped up by the Steiners, Alundra Blaze finding her women's belt missing, and in replace of that, her bag was full of feces. Lex Luger's expensive suit getting stapled to a wall. All in good fun.
Well, thanks, man, for coming on. It's been a lot of fun, and we hope to see you at some conventions here. I know there's one coming up in Georgia soon. So maybe.
No, what is it?
This August, Georgia NWA Legends Convention.
Oh, okay. And I will be, I will be around in Atlanta in April for WrestleMania. So, you guys want to come out and see where I'm going to be at then. I'll be, all over the place, meeting some of the new people, fraternizing with some of the, my old friends and everything like that, attending the Hall of Fame ceremony. So, I'll be around then.
Awesome. Anything you'd like to tell everybody out there before I let you go?
Well, I appreciate you guys keeping the dream alive, not forgetting about Men on a Mission. I speak for us all when I say we appreciate it. I had a very phenomenal time when I was, there. I'm having a phenomenal time now. Keep in touch. I'm very accessible. And through this radio station, you guys can always reach me.